For those of you who only heard the story of this man, for those of you who only saw his face on television, for those of you who always wished that you at least saw this man, some of you named your children after him without even knowing or seeing him. But today, Benue has presented this great man, this great African, this man who laid his life on the line for the unity of our country. Put your hands together for General Yakubu Gowon.
Ichayatif, Yanatuasha Gowon Yona, when Shanu Yanagoto Nigeria, Ojima, Okana Iwati Gawa, Gawanyo, Hevetayahana Yuega. Gawanyo, Yona.
I don't Odana Pu General Yakubu Gowon, allow Hiloiho, Anuha Muletia.
Your Excellency, Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, represented by the Chief of Staff to Mr. President, Senator Femi Baja Mila, Your Excellency, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Dr. Hyacinth Yomen Alia, Your Excellencies, all former governors of Benue State, and all distinguished, valued guests from the federal government and also Benue State government. My Lord, Your Highnesses, our respected traditional rulers and religious leaders who have graciously demonstrated affinity and love for Benue State by your physical presence here today. I recognize and respect all of you for coming to celebrate a worthy journey of one of the most visible states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Benue State. Your Excellencies, my lords, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let us abide by the protocol set by the Master of Ceremony. Allow me to very specially start by expressing my personal gratitude to His Excellency the Governor, Reverend Dr. Hyacinth Yomen Alia, for exclusively inviting me as special guest of honor to this occasion, for which role I feel highly honored and very appreciative. In the course of my relationship, both at personal and official level, historically, as head of state, I created Benue Benue Plateau State in 1967 and initiated the creation of Benue State in 1975, and it was done in 1976. As head of state and chief of the armed forces, I worked with and related very closely with many of your brilliant sons and daughters, public servants and military officers across the ethnic group of this great state. The invitation of the governor to me sent me into nostalgia of the memorable days I related with respected sons and daughters of Benue State. In all years past till date, I'm made to genuinely feel at home in Benue, and I am proud to express it publicly here today. Yes, I'm delighted to be back home. Yeah. Today, today's event being the golden jubilee of the creation of Benue State, the governor could not have picked a better time to celebrate and reflect over 5 decades of the journey of this state with a rare opportunity to identify areas of comparative advantage and the windows of opportunity that are beckoning for attention. If today's event gives us the opportunity to truly celebrate Benue State, the menu on the table is very rich. First of all, Benue State has a proud past with notable national and indeed international personalities that have reminded us of the human resources of this great state. I know that you are very proud of some of your prominent sons and daughters that have served this country and helped keep this country one and united. People like late J.S. Tarka, the Tiligados, the Paul Anungos, Aperaku, former Senate President, Senator David Mark, late Professor Isawa Elaigu. Of course, today there are many others. But just naming a few. And today you have George Akume, who is the present Secretary to the Government of the Federation. All past indigenous military and civilian governors. And let me include someone who comes from outside and was governor in 3 states in this country. I'm now referring to Governor or Senator and Governor Jonah Jang. Jonah Jang. Where is he? I haven't seen him. Where is he? I see. Well done. Okay. Stand to attention. Sit down. Thank you. Of course, you have people like Atom Pera, of course, Suswan, Governor Suswan, Simon Otom, and many others and many others. And let me really remember particularly one very important military man that really served me, and unfortunately he came to give the orders for the start of the Civil War. And unfortunately, after delivering the message to the general commanding, or the officer commanding the unit here, he unfortunately died in a helicopter accident. May his soul rest in peace. But that man, of course, was Joseph Akaham. May his soul rest in peace. We have other senior good military officers. Emmanuel Ikwe, who was Chief of Air Staff during the early stage of the Civil War, during the Civil War. And of course, there are many others that I cannot mention here, but that the story of Benue will be incomplete without mentioning their names for the record. But let also others that have not been, been mentioned. There is no doubt that Benue State is not mentioned without its appellate of the food basket of Nigeria, green belt of Nigeria. Invariably, as I've said, it is the one of the most beautiful green belts of Nigeria. The yams, the numerous refreshing fruits from Benue State has made it a business and tourist attraction. The Benue Green Belt is equally one of the attractions for livestock rearing, contributing to the sad resource conflicts recently and currently being experienced in this state. However, with the recent consolidation of the Joseph Tarka University of Agriculture, the future of a modern technology, innovation, and research and development driven diversification agricultural value chain for desirable value-added products speak to Benue's as the El Dorado or Finland of Nigeria. Yet mention of these great successes and achievements, I cannot avoid making reference to the unfortunate resource-based conflicts and insecurity, whichever name some may choose to call it. The recent conflicts are sadly man-made, but I know that with the commendable support of Mr. President Bola Tinubu to peacefully resolve the situation, and with the commendable leadership of the Governor, His Royal Majesty Victor Tiv, Professor Yatse, a very respected professor and intellectual, along with the Arch Idoma, as well as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, and all former and present political leaders the present and possibly simmering conflicts can be resolved amicably and very peacefully. However, today is a day of celebration of the state's 50 years, and it is my wish and desire to encourage the leaders at all levels and across and within the ethnic groups of the state to initiate a robust, peaceful relationship, coexistence, and complementarity. This can be achieved not with a magic wand, but with the peace that all our combined faiths command. Categorically, I can say without fear of contradiction that with a general sense of fairness, exclusivity, mutual respect for others, regardless of ideological or personal differences, it is possible to decide today and from here that the Golden Jubilee celebrations of Benue State need to rise with a new resolution that Benue at 50, a new beginning for our state. Thank you all for joining His Excellency the Governor to celebrate Benue State at 50 and this Golden Jubilee. Once more, I want to say thank you for inviting me as special guest of honor, and I want to thank all those who have come to this celebration here and those who are performing, to say thank you all for a great show, making, if I'm in this, certainly a celebration of the 50th anniversary, of Benue as a state, not Benue Plateau State, not part of Benue Plateau State. Thank you all, and God bless you all. Thank you.
You, Benue, you can do better. Put your hands together for our father. You heard him say he actually initiated the creation of our state, and then it was eventually done in 1976. Thank you, Daddy. May I very quickly, Your Excellencies, welcome the